So here's a real quick tour. Here's my very simple door. I use bungee cords through eye loops to keep it shut. The window, I can't open that, but I have a good 360 degree view. I don't have 360 degrees where I can shoot, but I can watch deer as they approach. This is really thick back through here, so don't have much of a shot through there, unless they're in real close. But see a lot of deer, see some in the field out there. Up there is the house. Last year my deer was right in this area, pretty close, had backdrop, so I was able to shoot him, and he ran out through there and I had to track him. Let's see, there's the road. It goes out through this notch in the pines that used to be a lot more open, but I've let stuff grow up. I need to try to get a weekend where I can come out and cut a lot of stuff, open up my shooting lanes more. Another shooting lane that has pretty much closed up, and through there up here is where my granddad's old treehouse is. I mean, he's bedridden now, so Dad's taken that over, but Dad's not really a hunter. He takes his rifle, but he doesn't care one way or if he gets a deer or another. But then here's my main shooting lane. Up to the tree line there is 220 yards. That's where I've taken a few deer. I've never gotten any out that far. There's a road that runs right down here at that transition from orange to green, and usually from that road in about 55 to 70 yards is where I've gotten deer out that direction, and then a bunch of woods. So there are my views, and I'll show you my setup in here. I'm on a swiveling folder hunting chair from Cabela's, which is not the most comfortable or the most easy to balance thing, but it gets the job done. Have my Mr. Heater. I got it set up. I got it attached to the tank, turned on the tank and waited a couple minutes, sniffed at the valve, made sure I didn't smell any gas leaking out before I lit it, and tested it, and it's working just fine. Usually I don't even have to turn one of them up above low. That thing will run you out of this little treehouse even with three sides of windows open. So it's effective. Have my empty ammo can I brought up solely to be a footrest. I do nap a lot up here, I'm not gonna lie, but whenever I'm napping, I wake myself up with a snore, and more often than not, that's the time when I see the most deer. I don't know, maybe they love the sound of me snoring. But here's a hook I can use to connect the bungees to. I can hang a trash bag like I have right now, hang up a rangefinder or monocular. It's multi-use. Have an eye hook there and up above to hold the door. And I have this little shelf I set on its side every year, and just leave it up here. Makes it easier to clean than if I had it set up. But you can see I have some snacks, my lighter for my heater, more snacks, the ever important coffee, some water, saltines, and tomorrow I'll bring up my backpack and rifle. My backpack will have some snacks, my pot and stove, the bungees for the door, optics, toilet paper just in case, and pipes and tobacco. So important stuff, and I'll bring up my rifle too, and I'll be all set to hunt. Anyhow, there you can see my view and see my setup. This is where I'll be spending quite a bit of time over the next 3 days. Guys, thanks for tuning in. It's Tuesday afternoon. Yesterday was really windy, kind of cold. Not a huge amount of deer. Though there was a 5-point, and I'll show that clip here in a minute. A 5-point, decent rack, and a little spike were hanging around each other and went along behind me here before lunchtime. It's about 10 till 3, and I just got out here, back out here maybe 20 minutes ago, and got inside, came around from this direction, and then this way is my main shooting lane. Sat down, lit my pipe, which is an HS Studio. I haven't smoked it too many times, but I call it my welding pipe because the texture in between these grooves here look like the beads of a weld. Funky, but pretty neat pipe. You can see it's drilled through the bottom, so it's a little bit doodler-esque. It's a nice cool smoke. The pattern makes it kind of a pretty good gripper. Looks big, but it's actually very lightweight for clenching. And kind of has a little reverse calabash action in here, a little chamber. But anyhow, sat in here, was rummaging through my pockets for my lighter and my tamper, getting out rangefinder, putting this monocular back around my neck. And I looked up at the top of the shooting range, about 200, or shooting lane about 220 yards, and there was a deer kind of looking at me. Another one came out, and they were rummaging up there. One still eating around, the other one laid down, so it's kind of bedding down. I forgot to mention I talked about the pipe, but right now I'm smoking the C&D Carolina Red Flake with Perique. Haven't smoked this in a while, and it tastes a lot better than the last time I did. I think there's still room for aging and improvement though, but it's gotten a lot better. But anyway, so down here, saw that buck, and then thought I saw another buck, but couldn't get a real good look at either of the racks. So I was like, well, it could be the same, could be different. And they went up to the right, and didn't see him at the same time, but heard clacking a few times, and then finally they moseyed back down. I saw one, and then I saw another one. I was like, okay, it is 2 bucks. And right down there, they fought. You know, they clacked horns together, kind of clacked together, and it was really neat. You know, I've seen it on TV, but I've never seen it in real life, so that was the first time. Not huge bucks, but, and it wasn't like, you know, bighorn sheep running at each other or anything. They just kind of side by side and just kind of joined horns and were wrestling a little bit, but it was awesome. But they were hanging around a little bit, and then I started seeing does and fawns. And then the bucks started going off to the left, and I lost sight of them. And then the does came up through here, and still through the brush before they got in the field out. They didn't get out in the field, but came across, went across the road about there, It went out to the right, and then I lost him in the really thick stuff. Well guys, about time to wrap up deer season. It's Wednesday afternoon, about 4, maybe about 45 minutes till sunset. Just got back out of my treehouse. Didn't even bring my rifle up from the vehicle. I'm just out here to finish my pipe and clean up my treehouse for the year. Go into town, see Mom, have dinner with her and Dad. And then tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So I'll hang out with them for a while and wait for my wife and boys to get up to town. Had a good deer season. But anyhow, guys, that's my deer season. Thanks for tuning in.